My beloved child, before this moment passes, listen carefully, because someone important has quietly noticed something in you that even you may have forgotten to see in yourself. Do not skip, because the next few moments carry a message that may explain why certain thoughts, certain feelings, and certain signs have been surrounding you lately. There is a reason this title reached your eyes today, and there is a reason your attention stopped here instead of moving away. Something huge is waiting for you, and the meaning of it is deeper than it first appears. There are times when a person looks at you and sees more than your words, more than your smile, more than the way you carry yourself in ordinary moments. They notice a light that cannot be described easily, a quiet strength that remains even after difficult days, a softness that survives despite disappointment, and a dignity that continues even when no one applauds you for holding yourself together. Someone important has been observing this silently. They may not have spoken yet. They may not have revealed what crossed their mind when they thought about you. But what they saw created a shift inside them, and that shift is growing stronger. Stay till the end, because what has begun quietly is not staying small. There are thoughts being formed about you in places you cannot hear, and some of those thoughts are filled with admiration you never expected. While you were focused on surviving your own days, while you were carrying responsibilities, doubts, and private emotions, someone important noticed the way you remained kind when you had every reason to become distant. They noticed how you kept moving even when your own heart needed rest. They noticed how your presence changes the atmosphere around you without effort. The beautiful thing they saw was not only on the outside. It was not only the way you speak, or the way you appear, or the way you enter a room. It was something deeper, something that appears when you are not trying to impress anyone. It appeared in your patience. It appeared in your silence. It appeared in your ability to care even after disappointment. That kind of beauty is rare, and rare things are never ignored for long. Do not skip, because many people pass by each other without truly seeing. But this time, someone looked carefully. Someone important paused long enough to understand that there is something unusual about your spirit. They may have first noticed it during an ordinary moment, a simple exchange, a small conversation, a quiet memory, or even a brief moment that seemed insignificant to you. Yet that ordinary moment stayed with them far longer than expected. And now something surprising is happening. Their thoughts about you are becoming difficult for them to ignore. What began as a passing impression has become a repeated thought. What seemed small has started returning to their mind at unexpected times. Your name, your presence, your energy, your words, something keeps returning to them. They are beginning to ask themselves why your image remains so clear when many others fade quickly. Something huge is waiting for you, because sometimes the beginning of an important change does not arrive with noise. It arrives quietly, in hidden thoughts, in private realizations, in moments where someone suddenly understands that what they noticed in you matters more than they first believed. There is also something else you must hear carefully. The beauty they noticed includes the way you carry untold stories. Even when you smile, there is depth. Even when you stay calm, there is history. Even when you speak lightly, there is weight behind your voice. People who truly observe can feel that. Someone important felt it. They understood that your strength did not appear without reason. They understood that your gentleness carries experience. Stay till the end, because this message is not only about being noticed. It is about what happens when someone realizes your value later than expected but more deeply than imagined. There are moments when people suddenly understand that what they were looking for has been near them in a form they did not fully appreciate at first. And when that understanding arrives, it changes the way they think, the way they remember, and the way they plan their next move. You may have felt recently that something invisible is shifting around you. A strange pull. A quiet expectation. A sense that something unspoken is forming behind the scenes. That feeling is not without meaning. Sometimes your heart senses movement before your eyes see proof. Sometimes the atmosphere changes before words arrive. Do not skip, because what they noticed in you is not temporary. It is not something that disappears with time. In fact, distance often makes it clearer. Silence often makes it stronger. The more they reflect, the more they understand that the beauty they saw was connected to something genuine, something difficult to replace. And here is what makes this moment powerful. While you may think nothing important is happening, someone important may already be reconsidering everything they assumed before. They may be comparing your presence with others and realizing that what you carry naturally cannot be copied. They may be understanding that your honesty, your calmness, your unusual emotional depth, and your quiet resilience are far more meaningful than they admitted. Something huge is waiting for you, because when someone finally recognizes true value, their next thought often becomes impossible to ignore. They begin asking themselves whether they should speak, whether they should come closer, whether they should reveal what they have understood. The next moments ahead may carry signals you did not expect. A message, a gesture, a different tone, a surprising openness, or a moment where hidden admiration begins to surface. But before any visible sign appears, understand this clearly: what they saw in you was real enough to stay. So remain steady. Remain observant. And above all, remain aware that the beauty seen in you is not accidental. It has been speaking quietly long before words were spoken, and now someone important is beginning to hear it clearly. Do not skip, because this is only the beginning, and what follows may explain why this message reached you exactly now. There is another truth you need to hear right now, because what was noticed in you did not end in a single moment, it continued long after that first impression. Don't skip, because the deeper part of this message begins here, and something huge is waiting for you in the next lines. Someone important did not simply see one beautiful quality and move on. They began noticing how your presence remains in memory even when you are not there. That is rare. Many people are seen, but very few are remembered in a way that returns unexpectedly during quiet hours. You became one of those unforgettable thoughts without even trying. A word you spoke, a calm expression, a gentle response, or even your silence created more impact than you know. Stay till the end, because there is a reason this keeps growing inside their mind. At first they may have tried to treat it as nothing unusual. They may have told themselves it was only a passing thought. But certain impressions do not disappear when they are real. Instead, they return stronger. And each time they return, they bring more clarity. What surprised them most was not only your beauty of spirit, but the peace they felt when thinking about you. In a noisy world, very few people carry that kind of quiet effect. Some people attract attention loudly, but others create a lasting feeling without effort. You belong to the second kind, and that is why this became impossible to ignore. Don't skip, because something powerful is hidden in this. While others may speak loudly to be noticed, what they saw in you needed no performance. It was natural. The way you remain yourself, the way you do not force what is real, the way your energy stays distinct even in ordinary moments, this has created a silent admiration that keeps deepening. There were moments when they tried to focus elsewhere, yet your image returned. They remembered how you handled something small with grace. They remembered how you carried yourself when no one expected anything from you. They remembered details that seemed ordinary at the time but now feel important. This is how real attention grows. It attaches itself to details. Something huge is waiting for you, because hidden admiration often reaches a point where silence becomes difficult. Before words are spoken, thoughts become heavier. Before action happens, the heart begins asking questions. Why did this person remain in my mind? Why does their presence feel different? Why does something about them continue to stand out? And now those questions are becoming stronger. Stay till the end, because what they are realizing now may change how they approach you next. They are beginning to understand that your value is not loud, but lasting. The world often notices what shines quickly, but deeper hearts notice what stays true. That is what happened here. What they saw in you did not fade after one day. It became clearer. There is also something you may not realize. Sometimes your strongest beauty appears when you think no one is watching. The moments when you are simply being yourself often reveal more than carefully planned moments ever could. Someone important witnessed that side of you, and that memory stayed. Don't skip, because this next thought matters deeply. There are people who only understand worth after distance, after silence, after reflection. They begin to compare every other presence to the one that quietly moved them. They begin to recognize that something genuine is difficult to replace. That recognition is forming now. Perhaps recently you have felt an unusual pause around certain conversations, a strange sense that something unspoken is near, a feeling that eyes are noticing more than words reveal. Sometimes the heart senses attention before truth arrives openly. Sometimes something shifts before it becomes visible. Something huge is waiting for you, because not every message arrives through words first. Sometimes it arrives through changed behavior, through deeper attention, through unusual pauses, through a different tone that suddenly carries meaning. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime part. When someone important truly sees beauty beneath the surface, they do not forget it easily. Surface impressions fade, but depth creates return. That is why what they noticed in you continues to return in quiet moments. Stay till the end, because there may soon come a moment when what has remained hidden begins to reveal itself through unexpected honesty. A different conversation. A different expression. A different closeness. Something that once stayed inside may begin moving toward the surface. You do not need to chase what is already being recognized. You do not need to force what is already being understood. What matters now is that what they saw was real enough to remain, and real enough to grow stronger. Don't skip, because this story is still unfolding, and the next part carries what may happen when silent admiration reaches the point where it can no longer stay silent. A quiet turning point is closer than it appears, and this is why you must listen carefully now. Don't skip, because what has been silent for so long may soon begin to show itself in ways you did not expect. Something huge is waiting for you, and the next shift may arrive through a moment that looks ordinary at first but carries unusual meaning underneath. Someone important is no longer only remembering what they saw in you, they are now comparing that feeling with everything around them. And the more they compare, the more they realize that what they noticed in you is not easy to find again. Certain people leave an impression for a day, but a rare presence keeps returning even when life becomes busy. That is what is happening now. Stay till the end, because a powerful realization has started inside them. Your beauty is connected to consistency. The way you remain steady, the way you do not change yourself to impress, the way your words and your energy feel honest, this has become more valuable in their eyes than they first admitted. In a world where many things appear quickly and disappear quickly, something stable becomes unforgettable. There were moments when they expected their thoughts about you to fade, yet instead they became sharper. A small memory returned stronger than before. A simple detail suddenly felt important. The way you looked during one quiet moment, the way you responded during one simple exchange, the way your calm remained even when everything around you moved fast, those details have become impossible for them to dismiss. Don't skip, because this is where hidden feelings often become undeniable. It begins when someone notices they are thinking about one person during unexpected hours. It begins when your name appears in their thoughts without invitation. It begins when silence around you starts feeling heavier than expected. Something huge is waiting for you, because once admiration reaches that level, it changes how a person observes everything that follows. Even your absence begins to speak. Even your distance begins to create thought. Even a simple memory becomes enough to create emotion. And here is what makes this moment stronger. They are beginning to wonder whether you understand your own value. They are beginning to see that what you carry naturally may be greater than what you yourself recognize. Sometimes people outside us see our quiet strength before we fully accept it ourselves. That may be why this message has reached you now. Stay till the end, because another surprising truth is unfolding. What they saw beautiful in you was not perfection. It was sincerity. It was the fact that even with your own hidden struggles, you still carry warmth. Even with your unanswered questions, you still carry light. Even with your private disappointments, you still offer a presence that feels genuine. That kind of beauty does not disappear with time. It becomes clearer. Don't skip, because there may soon be a moment when they begin acting differently without fully explaining why. A longer pause in conversation. A different tone in the way they speak. A small effort that was not there before. A question asked with unusual attention. These are often the first visible signs when silent admiration becomes too strong to hide completely. Something huge is waiting for you, because not every important change arrives loudly. Sometimes it begins with a look that lasts longer than usual. Sometimes it begins with someone choosing words carefully because what they feel has become meaningful. There is also something deeper happening behind the scenes. They are replaying earlier moments and realizing they missed how important those moments were. What once felt ordinary now feels significant. What once seemed small now carries meaning they did not understand before. Stay till the end, because this next truth matters. When someone important finally sees beauty in its true form, they often become afraid of ignoring it. They begin to feel that staying silent too long may cause them to lose something valuable. And that thought creates movement. Perhaps that is why recent moments have felt unusual to you. Perhaps you sensed a hidden attention, a silent shift, a feeling that something around you is changing even if no words explain it yet. Sometimes the heart notices before life gives proof. Don't skip, because what is forming now has not reached its final shape. This is still building. The admiration, the thought, the recognition, the quiet emotional weight, all of it is moving toward a point where staying silent becomes difficult. Something huge is waiting for you, because there are moments when a person suddenly understands that someone they quietly admired has become more important than expected. And once that understanding becomes clear, their next step often changes everything. So remain calm, remain observant, and understand this clearly. What they saw in you continues to grow in meaning, and the next chapter may arrive sooner than you imagine. What happens next may feel small on the outside, yet it can carry more meaning than you imagine. Don't skip, because this part is where silent recognition begins moving closer to expression. Something huge is waiting for you, and the signs may appear in ways so subtle that only a careful heart will notice them. Someone important has now reached a place where your image is no longer just a passing thought. It has become a reference point. They notice other conversations, other faces, other moments, but something still brings their mind back to what they saw in you. That quiet beauty, that calm depth, that unusual sincerity has become difficult for them to compare with anything else. Stay till the end, because this is where hidden thoughts become heavier than silence. A person can ignore many things, but it becomes difficult to ignore a feeling that keeps returning without invitation. They may not even understand why your presence carries such weight for them, but they know it does. And when someone begins questioning why one person remains in their thoughts, that is when inner change begins. What they saw beautiful in you was not loud enough for the world to notice immediately, but it was strong enough to remain unforgettable. The way you carry yourself without forcing attention, the way your words feel thoughtful, the way your presence creates calm even without effort, these things have continued speaking in their memory long after moments ended. Don't skip, because there is a reason certain people are remembered deeply. They awaken something that ordinary encounters do not awaken. You may have entered their thoughts quietly, but now your presence is becoming connected to meaning. They are beginning to understand that what they noticed in you was not temporary admiration, it was deeper recognition. Something huge is waiting for you, because once someone reaches this point, they often begin watching for opportunities. A reason to speak more openly. A reason to stay near longer. A reason to understand you better than before. Even if they say little, their attention has already changed. Stay till the end, because another surprising truth is unfolding. They are now noticing how rare your balance is. Strength without hardness. Kindness without weakness. Calm without emptiness. This combination is not common, and rare things are not forgotten easily. There may soon be a moment where their words carry a meaning you did not expect. A simple sentence may sound different. A familiar conversation may suddenly feel deeper. A small gesture may reveal more than a long explanation ever could. Often the first visible sign of hidden admiration is not dramatic, it is simply unmistakably different. Don't skip, because what has remained quiet until now is moving toward clarity. They are beginning to feel that silence no longer protects them from what they have understood. The longer they think, the clearer it becomes. Something about you continues to matter. Something huge is waiting for you, because there are rare moments when a person realizes they have been changed by noticing someone they never expected to affect them this deeply. It begins with memory, grows through reflection, and eventually reaches the point where distance itself creates stronger awareness. And perhaps this explains why certain energies around you have felt unusual lately. Sometimes before important words arrive, the atmosphere changes first. You feel pauses. You notice attention. You sense something forming before proof appears. Stay till the end, because the most powerful part is this: what they noticed beautiful in you is connected to something lasting, not temporary. Surface attention fades quickly, but genuine recognition grows stronger through time. The more they reflect, the more certain they become that what they saw deserves attention, deserves honesty, deserves a closer understanding. Don't skip, because a moment may come when what has stayed hidden begins to appear naturally, through honesty, through changed behavior, through a conversation that unexpectedly carries truth. Something huge is waiting for you, because not every important chapter begins with loud declarations. Some begin with one person finally accepting that what they saw in you has become impossible to ignore. And when that acceptance becomes complete, the next step often arrives quietly, but it changes everything that follows.